Welcome to the Malina Radio Podcast. Welcome back in our podcast today. Today, the economy is pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? But today's podcast, welcome back to another podcast. Today's Malina Radio Podcast, we're going to talk about the unfortunate situation of people, poor people and poor state of mind, and more stuff. I made a podcast. I made a podcast yesterday, which is pretty cool. I'm talking to myself again, so let's make a podcast again. Today's podcast we're going to talk about is basically, what would happen if society collapsed, So I'm going to start with a story. So I was chilling in Manhattan, I was walking in Manhattan, I was chilling in Manhattan, I'm chilling in Manhattan, chilling with the white girls in the city, pretty good in the city. Next, I came back from the ferry, I was walking back to the ferry, it was around Bay Street, around that area, around the HRA building, and there was a random guy, a black guy, he was like, oh man, I need $5 for something to eat, not something to eat, but $5. I was like, okay. I'm raw reality. I don't really have $5. Most of it's digital. And second of all, why would I give a credit card to him and get scammed? I don't want to do that. But it wasn't that. But it was more like I had I literally have $2,000 in my bank account. Or I don't know. I just say I didn't have any money. That's all I said. Really, it's weird. I just get free shit. But that's a different story. So he was like, oh, I don't have $5. I was like, I don't have $5. So he was like, he got angry at me. He was like, this way I gotta be careful. Don't go at night. He was angry at me. He was like, oh, you don't have $5? You can go to the bank and take out money and put it in the card. So I was like, okay. So I don't know. So I was like, okay. I didn't do that. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I said, no, man. I said, back off. Let me walk. They walked to me, and that was it. So the question in my head I'm thinking about, right, when I made that altercation, that reaction, almost went to altercation, I was wondering, God forbid, society collapse. Let's say the homeless guy. I'm not saying no. There's not all homeless guys not all homeless are like that. There's some. I do give money and food. I do give food sometimes with poor people if needed. No, they're not always asking for money for drugs or anything. But what concerns me is God forbid society collapse, and society collapse. Let's say society collapse, right? Let's say society collapse. The thing I'm wondering, right? Because I'm not the richest guy in the pound. I'm not making billions at all. I do it for funsies. I just even the Bible talks about too that a rich man's hard to get into heaven too. Now I'm not saying there's nothing wrong making money. I'm not saying be poor most of life. But even Bible says even when we make money, you have to donate to people in need. Personally, most of my make is $200 from SNAP benefits. So. I'm not saying I don't want to say I'm a brokey because I don't want my name to be like, oh, he's poor, but I just have a rich mindset. I never have a poor mindset. I just even when I have $0, I still make things free. So that's just the reality. But yeah, what would happen if society collapsed and all that stuff? People what would happen? That's what scares me. And I don't know. I don't think people would be ready for a society collapse. Now, maybe it's a good thing. For me, it's a good thing because I don't want to be taking medicine no more. I can be able to survive and worry about food. It'll be awesome. But most people in the Matrix, they'll be screwed. They'll be actually screwed in the Matrix because if society collapses, they're screwed. So that's the thing, guys, what scares me. It's if society collapses, right? Let's say YouTube fails. Let's say everything, all the internet shut down, all communications are down. Most people won't be able to survive with that. So that's the thing you gotta think about. And it's kind of a weird scenario that, what's crazy in reality is that people are in the Matrix, man. The Matrix is real. I'm not joking. The Matrix is real. And they want to enslave you. They want to control you. So basically, they can't access. Also, the reason why they're trying to do the offline revolution, they're like, oh, get off your phones and go offline. It's marketing. They just want to make money from the offline people. They just want to make money and also make it where they can actually restrict your freedoms, where you basically don't own electronic. They're trying to make smartphones more expensive, so you don't own a smartphone, so you can't even buy a computer. They're gonna make it so hard to get a computer because it's gonna be so expensive. They're trying to raise the prices, smartphone prices, component prices, so you don't own a computer. You do everything in the cloud. That's the plan. That's the plan. They're trying to make offline the next luxury. They're trying to make offline the next luxury. So you can't be able to buy a computer. I know it sounds crazy to think, oh wait, offline is a good thing. No, they're trying to make it where you don't own your computer and don't own your internet, don't own your life. That's what they're trying to do, and you have to use some cloud servers. That's all. It's all the offline revolution's planned out. So that's just the reality, though. But yeah, like that's the plan. All the offline revolution thing is it's basically marketing so you can buy more shit. That's all the offline revolution is. That's why I said the internet's gonna make a comeback, because the offline shit, it's all to make buy dumb phones, buy that stuff so you don't own a smartphone. So when let's say the smartphone prices goes up, which they're gonna raise the price of smartphones eventually and desktops. It's gonna be harder and harder to basically own a smartphone or own a laptop, and all computers will be so expensive that you might as well use a dumb phone cheaper, and it's all planned out. They go try to make owning a device is hard to get, and that's just reality. They go try to make owning a device, electronic device, hard. Even though people hate computers, even people hate smartphones, they're trying to make it where you don't own your device, so you can basically stuck in the cloud platform, which is worse, and they can shut you down more than compared if you have local hardware. Like, local hardware is, cheaper. Right now it's cheap, but it can get expensive in the future to the point where you don't own it. So if society collapses, if the global supply chain collapses, the computer market and all that stuff, like, most people won't be able to survive. Like, all jobs depend on computers and internet, so that's the thing. You gotta also remember too, on top of that, with the logistics, if there's a societal collapse in New York City, Manhattan's the first one to go down, because Manhattan is literally an island, and it's not sustainable. So you got to remember that too. So if society collapsed, right? Let's say society collapsed, then what would happen? How will people survive? And I'm worried, and what's also concerned is the power situation. There's concerns that China and Russia are trying to shut down the power supply of America. So we may be back in the dark ages too, because the power grid is a C rating. Our power system is a C rating. It's not good. So, Russia and China have the capability to shut down our power system. So you won't be able to make contact or phone calls to the electronic devices. So it's a very sneaky plan too. So our power system is failing. So if society collapses, then what would happen? That's the thing you gotta remember. Like, most people won't be able to survive a societal collapse. And that's what scares me. I worry about the poor people in general too, because personally, I can adapt to anything. I can survive even with no money. I have no job. That's why I do my Lena. I do my business. I have a business. I don't want to say I have no job. I get donations, whatever. I can survive without a job. I could survive. I don't need a job. It's more like I have to work, so I don't look poor. I don't have to. I have my own house. I have everything. I don't have to work. But here's the thing: most people are dependent on the system. I'm not dependent on the system. Most people are dependent on the system. So if the system collapses, they're screwed. You know what I'm saying? Between the jobs, like, having a job is not reliable too. On top of that, because you have to, they can fire you in the heartbeat. Some jobs are reliable, but they slowly become reliable. And I think entrepreneurship is the way to go now. But even that's not reliable too, because Stripe, they can ban your account. YouTube can ban your account, shut your business down. So it's it's also fragile too. So if society collapses, you have to go back to small scale technology, like Uncle Ted says, and use small scale technology. And that's the thing. Like, we're screwed, man. Society is going to collapse. And that's what scares me about the poor people and homeless people, is that if society collapsed, what would happen? What would they be able to survive? And this is why I do believe that we should bring back the caveman times where, we built our own houses. There was back then, there was no homeless guy. There was no such thing as homelessness back in back in 1600s or 1500s. There were slaves over there from America. There were slaves, but I don't think there were slaves. I don't know, but there were slaves. But here's the thing: we are slaves. We are slaves now. Everyone that works in the system are slaves now, because if you don't work, you starve. Or if it's a totalitarian system. Like, this Matrix is a totalitarian system. Or even China's worse, because they got the social credit system, they got AI cameras. It's bad. So the point of Matrix is designed where you got to go to school, you got to be brainwashed to death about what you believe in, so you don't have skill to survive a societal collapse. You basically learn skills that are basically useless, but brainwashing to do a particular job you hate, and basically designed where you don't have skill, where basically you only have skill for the job, particularly for that job, and God forbid society collapse or you get fired, you basically rely on the system. They make it depend on the system. So they they only give you things. Even the school system, they don't teach you about money. They don't teach you how to get rich. They design it where they make you an employee. They brainwash you to make you work a job and hate an employee. That's what the school system is designed. And the school system is part of the matrix. The school system is designed to control you. It's designed to make you an employee and control them. And even the food we eat is designed to get us health to decline, so you can't fight easily. So it's crazy how the matrix works. And also, reality is not what we think it is. Reality is what we think of in reality. And the pharmaceutical companies are making money off of reality shifting and all that stuff. How the pharmaceuticals, like if you don't like the matrix, if you don't like what they teach you in school, they medicate you if you disrespect a teacher. They give you like psych medicine or what's it called? Psych medicines or psychedelics. What is it? I think it was antipsychotic medicine if you be angry against the matrix. So they give you that. Now you go to therapy. You got to get the pharmaceutical. And on top of that, they're tracking you in the psychiatry, like OVL. When I go to OVL, they track everything. They take notes, everything. They track you in the database. So even if you don't want to take your medicine, they can go back and you were refusing, and then they put you in a mental asylum. And then basically you're screwed. So the whole matrix is designed to keep you at a low vibration state and control you. And if society collapses, you're screwed. So it's kind of crazy to think about that the matrix is real. The matrix is all about control. It's not about helping the people. It's not about helping the homeless. It's not about helping people in need. It's not about helping the poor. It's not about helping the rich either. It's about control. Like, doesn't matter. Like, the matrix does not discriminate. The matrix doesn't care if you're white, doesn't care if you're black, doesn't care if you're purple. It's designed to control you. That's what the matrix wants, is control. That's what the reality wants. The reality is all in the mind. The matrix is all in your mind. It's not about oh, I want to be rich and powerful. It's about control. That's all it is. The school system is designed to make you a robot to the matrix, where you're forced to work a job you hate on top of that, and basically pay taxes, which taxes goes there. And also, the whole point of breeding kids, the reason why the government wants you to have kids is not because, oh, we care about the kids. It's because they want you to have people to raise those kids eventually turn them into sheep and turn them into the matrix and turn into sheep so they can work for the machine. If you get a girl pregnant, you're screwed, because they want you to put the kid in school, and if you don't put the kid in school, we'll put you in foster care. And if the kids goes to foster care, then they have to go to a different scenario. Then the foster mothers make money on the foster kids and then sell them. But if you don't do that route, if you do it legally, then the kids grew up if you raise a kid, if they don't want to foster care, the kids raise up and they have to be members of society and designed to be in the state stuck in the matrix. They design it where when you raise a kid, you have to teach them how, okay, you got to work a job, hey, and then blah, blah, and you're in the matrix. The whole matrix is designed to control. And I do believe that people are asleep in the matrix. They design it where they can control you. What freaks me out about the matrix is most people will defend the matrix. Most people are asleep in the matrix. Most people defend the matrix. And even on social media too, they can ban your account if the matrix does not like what you think it is. The matrix can change the algorithm in your mind and reality based on what you said and what you think. Like, the matrix is real, ladies and gentlemen. The matrix can control you. It's a design of control. Even social media too. When you're on social media, you get recommendations to be offline. The offline revolution is the matrix a way of attacking, so you can be able to not have access to your phone. The reason why people are offline is luxury. It's a matrix trick to get you not to own your device or computers. They want you to not own computers or phones no more. They want to make sure computers prices are so high that you can't afford it. Then you force it basically you go use cloud storage, which into cheap cloud storage, instead of using your own computers or physical hardware. And they design it where you don't own things. They want you to rent from them. It's all planned out. It's all Illuminati plan. The Illuminati's plan to do that. It's all planned out. The offline revelation is designed to basically be a consumer and consume products. That's all it is. That's all the offline revolution. Now, I know people are like, the internet is bad. No. They design it where you don't own things. It's all planned and also to basically centralize information, centralize communications, centralize information. So God forbid, let's say the schools can bring, because the internet is very useful. The internet is a tool. The internet can basically teach you stuff that you will not get in school. Like the fact they don't teach you military time in school is scary. They design it. They want to control the information. They want to control the information too. They want you offline so they can. I mean, you can get it from books, but it's hard to get books. You gotta go online to get there. So they want to control you. They want to centralize information. So God forbid, when you can't get your chip, the microchips, they will put microchip in babies and they control you. It's all about control. That's all it is. So that's just the reality. What scares me is if the poor people and homeless people are screwed because. If the society collapse, they might be screwed, and it's scary to think America's at the collapse, man. Like America's gonna collapse soon. Scary, very scary. So, yeah, something to think about. So if society collapsed, like then what would happen? So that's just the reality. The whole matrix is gonna collapse, and on top of that too. And this is where you have to build skill and talent because eventually money become worthless, and you have to build skill and talent to survive. The fact that I survived on the $200 is incredible. Most people won't be able to survive on $200. I survive. I get free food. I get free things, and it's reliable. But here's the thing: if society collapses, you would have to grow your own food. You have to survive. If the jobs market collapses, you're screwed. You would have to grow your own food. You would have to go to the woods. You have to use small-scale technology to survive, and that's what's scary. Most people won't be able to survive if they're broke or homeless because they're basically stuck in the matrix and the design. Even the media company, even if you're wealthy, even if you're rich and wealthy, let's say you're a powerful family in the media company. If you gotta be careful what you say online. If you're famous or making money, like Andrew Tate was rich, and guess what? He lost everything. He's in jail now because the media controlled the propaganda of him, false statements of Andrew Tate, and they. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it's true, but they gave lies. But what I heard from is lies. They gave lies to the people, and the media control them. What they say, even these celebrities, like when you're a celebrity, they don't own. See me and Madalena, we can say what we want because I have root access. I even have the check mark on the celebrity check mark. I have root access. I can say what I want, provided I follow the policy. But most celebrities can't speak their mind because they're in a matrix where the media companies control what they say. It's all planned out. Even the back to school ads, they're designed where they can keep you stuck. When you go back to school, you need a degree so you can work a job you hate. That's all planned out. All the matrix, all is marketing. All the matrix is planned out. The back to school sale is designed. Going back to school is designed to make you an employee. Not designed to make you a factory worker. It's all planned out. And the matrix is want to control you. And if you don't go to school, they say you're abusing your child. So then you have to go to the foster care system, which is a whole different video to talk about. Then you're in the foster care system, where the foster mom make money off the foster kids. It's all planned out. Like the government is its fault. It's the government's fault. And people wonder, the black community was screwed by the white man. No, it was the government. The government screwed the government screwed the black community from America. The government screwed the black community. Even all people. It's always the government's fault. Remember that. It's always the government's fault. The government destroyed the black community between giving them welfare checks, and the law stated that when you get a welfare check, you have to have kids, and you can't have a guy with you can't have a man with you. So they get the man out of the house, and they have the woman, have pregnant with sex with random guys to get welfare checks. And they say if you have more kids, you get more welfare checks. So the black community is screwed over because the matrix want to basically get rid of the man of the household and have feminine men and soy boys so they can control you. It's all planned out. They want to get rid of the men so you can't produce the kid. So you can't produce you can't instill in belief to your family. They get rid of the man and woman. The man and woman, so they can't instill family belief, your own belief system. They want your kids in the school to be propagandized, and if you don't do that, we'll take your kids away. Basically, the state owns the kids. You don't own your kids. You don't own your mind. The state owns your mind if you're in the system. Like if you're in a major, I escaped the major because I have my own independent thought. Even though the matrix tried to brainwash me to think I'm this and that and mental, I have my own thought. I have my own opinions. I prefer the freedom of slavery. I self-educate. I self-educate myself. I have my own podcast. I make videos on Spotify. I have my own independent thought. Most people are wage cook and they have no independent thought. And that's just the reality, son. So I hope you like the podcast so far. I mean, it was a short podcast, really. Once again, it's kind of scary to think about. The Matrix real. So I'm about to upload to YouTube, and Spotify. It's exclusive on Spotify. I'm glad you like the podcast. Hope I'm things loud. I'm glad you like the podcast. I'm glad you like the podcast so far. It's pretty revolutionary. But yeah, majority of stories like we need self-educate. Definitely self-educate. Have free the Matrix. Self-educate through YouTube and escape the Matrix, man. Start a business. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a good sort of podcast. Hope you like the podcast. Love you guys and stay rich. I'm out. Peace.